guys, welcome back to Style with Substance and welcome to a not that long overdue book review. Today I'm going to be talking about How Successful People Think, which is a book by John C. Maxwell. I've just finished reading it. I've absolutely loved it. And I just wanted to share my kind of learnings with you guys, some of the things that I picked up, and give you a general overview as to why I think that it's a really good book. So, if you like the sound of that, then please keep watching. Okay. So probably best to start out with just a little close-up of the book. I actually got it for really cheap on Amazon. I think I paid about 75p for the book itself, and then I think it was maybe £2 or £3 extra for postage. So postage actually cost more than the book, and that's because I bought it used. I think it retails here, it says, for $10, $10 US dollars and 12 Canadian dollars. So it is pretty cheap. It's a mini book, but it packs a punch. So let me read the blurb for you guys. So it's titled How Successful People Think, Change Your Thinking, Change Your Life. And the blurb on the back says, gather successful people from all walks of life, and what would they all have in common? The way they think. Now you can think as they do and revolutionize your work and life. How Successful People Think is the perfect compact read, which it is, for today's fast-paced world. America's leadership expert John Maxwell will teach you the 11 essential types of thinking, showing you how to be more creative, when to question popular thinking. You'll learn how to capture the big picture while focusing your thinking. You'll find out how to tap into your creative potential, develop shared ideas, and derive lessons from the past to better understand the future. With these 11 keys to more effective thinking, you'll clearly see the path to personal success. So this book was actually a #1 New York Times bestseller. John Maxwell is a big player in the leadership and sort of personal development space, so I definitely wanted to give this a read. So the general premise of the book is all about how changing your thinking can elevate your life and put you on the path to whatever it is you're striving to achieve or to succeed in. So the approach that he takes in the book is talking about the different types of thinking that successful people employ into their everyday lives, and why there is such an importance around how you think, when you think, how often you think, as it relates to how successful you are. And success is objective, so it's going to be different for everybody, of course, but in this sense, it's really about helping you to see the bigger picture for your life. He defines in the book what he says are the 11 keys. So he talks about seeing the wisdom of big picture thinking. He talks about unleashing the potential of focused thinking. He talks about discovering the joy of creative thinking, recognizing the importance of realistic thinking, releasing the power of strategic thinking, embracing lessons of reflective thinking, questioning the acceptance of popular thinking, encouraging the participation of shared thinking, experiencing the satisfaction of unselfish thinking, and enjoying the returns of bottom line thinking. What I wanted to talk to you about were the four different types of thinking that stood out to me and that I felt really kind of opened my eyes to how crucial and how much of a game changer how you think can be. So I made some notes on my phone. But what stood out to me the most initially was embracing unpopular thinking. I don't know if that's necessarily how he titled it, but the type of thinking he was talking about was unpopular thinking. I am somebody who is very much lived a cookie cutter life, and I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that at all. And I think the point that John makes in the book is really that if you want to change your life, if you want to be more successful, a lot of the time some of the decisions you're going to make and some of the ways that you think about certain things or approach certain situations is going to very much stray from the herd. And he talks about really successful people or really influential people in the past being very good at unpopular thinking, i.e. thinking about things and doing things that the masses are not doing. And I think it really drives the point home that if you are thinking in exactly the same way that everybody else is thinking, or if you are doing things just because that's the thing to do or that is what is expected of you, then you're kind of going the wrong way about it. I think there's a saying, well-behaved women never change the world, or something along those lines. But basically it kind of nods to what he's trying to say here. It's really around embracing thinking that is extremely unique, that kind of goes against the grain and is very unpopular, and will make you unpopular, but realizing in your mind that you're working towards a completely different picture. That for me was a really key point that he made, because I think I can see instances in my life where I have followed popular thinking and done things because it was the done thing to do, but there are also instances where I've definitely gone outside of the status quo and just completely said, you know, to hell with doing what everybody else does. So I can see the benefits of those times where I've taken risks and done really crazy things, and I think that those are the times that have definitely taken my life on a completely new course for the better. The chapter on reflective thinking was particularly great. We live our lives at such a fast and constant pace, right? So everything we're doing, we're just kind of executing, and we rarely take time to take a step back and to think about what happened. What did I learn from that? What went sideways? What went really well? Should this be something that I do again? Like, we rarely get the time to evaluate, assess, analyse some of the things that we do, and I think that's what he means by reflective thinking, reflecting on things and really, you know, digesting things and taking the time out to do so, especially when making big decisions. I'm a very exercised decision maker, so it's something that I do regularly, or try to do, because I think that making decisions is often what can make the biggest changes in your life. But I think in my life so far, I've definitely made decisions almost too fast without taking time to reflect on them for a lot longer. So I think I really liked that chapter in there, because it almost takes you through the steps of what reflective thinking should look like, particularly if you have a big decision to make at the end of it. So I really enjoyed that chapter. So something that definitely runs through the book, like it's definitely a big undercurrent, is the fact that thinking should really be an exercise and an activity that you take time out of your schedule to do and have a space for doing. So he talks about he takes thinking time in the spa or in the sauna or something like that, or has a room or a particular area in a room where he goes to do his thinking. So really taking an active step to take yourself outside of all the distractions and your everyday to like devote your time to thinking, which we don't do. I don't think people do. So then there was a chapter about strategic thinking, which is fantastic if you run a business, but also fantastic if you have a personal brand or if you have something really big that you're working towards. People like me tend to get an idea and run with it, and especially in the context of business and career and things like that, which is good. However, I think whenever you have an idea and you know, you've conceptualized something, there is always time and space and a need for a plan around it, a strategy as to how you're going to achieve. Now, don't get me wrong, I don't just kind of go out there and just do. There is some thinking behind what I do, and I do keep in mind what the end goal is. But I think strategic thinking is sort of taking that to the next level and almost saying to yourself, okay, so if that's the goal, what is the bigger picture that goal feeds into? And then what is the sort of overall mission statement of what you're doing? So when I think about my channel, because that's quite relevant, I was like, okay, well, I know the kind of videos and the kind of content I want to put out there. I know what I represent, and I want my channel to be a representation of me, but I didn't really have, like, you know how companies have a mission statement or whatever their aim is, or what their whole goal or purpose that they're striving towards. I didn't really have that. So this book really forced me to write down what the mission statement for my YouTube channel was. And when I put it down on paper, it really made sense to me, and it really reinforced the fact that, okay, well, that translates into these goals, and that translates into this kind of content. And now I'm starting to think really strategically. I'm thinking in the short term, what does that mean? I'm thinking in the long term, what are some of the things I could go on to do? Like, I really started to think about it like a business and like an entity in its own. So I think that that chapter was a real game changer for me. Probably, I'd say, the most useful chapter in the whole book. And then he spoke about possibility thinking, which is all about just thinking big. There is a chapter on big picture thinking, so it's different from that, but it's about taking the word impossible or it can't be done out of your, taking that phraseology out of your vocabulary and really thinking about, is this possible? And some of the examples he cites in the book are of companies where they've tasked their more experienced employees to come up with something or invent something, and because of their experience and because of their knowledge, they know that this certain task or whatever it is unachievable based on what they know. And then they give the task to sort of younger, very new, very fresh sort of, I guess you could call them apprentices. And because they don't have that knowledge and they don't have that expertise and they don't have that it can't be done in their mind, because they don't really know what the art of the possible is, they were able to bring this thing or this task to fruition. And that is a testament to young people, I think, definitely. I think when we're younger, well, I say young people, I am also young people, I think when we're younger, we don't know what is and what isn't possible, and therefore if somebody tells us that we can't do something, that's a completely foreign concept to us, because we don't know all of the things that necessarily need to go in to make that thing happen. And that's a good thing, because it's the people who believe that something is possible to do that actually go ahead and do it. Yeah, possibility thinking is key. If you have a big dream that you're chasing, you want to be successful, you have to believe that everything is possible or anything is possible. And I think that really sealed the deal for me, because I think I'm very much a possibility thinker, but I do have that, and I think we all have that little bit, that little voice in my head that's kind of like, are you sure you're going to be able to get this done, particularly in the time scale that you want to get this done. I always think that things are going to take a lot longer than they necessarily might do. You just never know how things are going to take off. So possibility thinking is so key, because if you have that thought in your mind, I truly believe that the circumstances attached to that will attract themselves to you. Genuinely believe that. That is my assessment of the book. It's really short. I think it's only about 100 odd pages, like 124 pages. So I was able to read this in a couple of days. I could have read it in one sitting if I was really dedicated to, but that is how good it is. So I will have linked it in the description box below. I will also have linked my book, which is on the law of attraction, below, just in case any of you guys are interested in picking that up. It's also available as a Kindle book and a paperback. Hopefully you guys enjoyed that. I really love this book. I'm gonna continue on with the book reviews because I know you guys really enjoy those. My next book that I'm reading is by Tony Robbins, Awaken the Giant Within, which is a pretty hefty read. I actually tweeted about it the other day and posted on my Instagram stories to say that I think this one is really going to stretch me. Not because it's so long, or not because typically I find Tony Robbins' writing to be quite meaty and quite heavy, but because of the whole concept and the premise behind it and what it's challenging its readers to do. So that's going to be a really interesting one. If I actually finish it, I will definitely do a review on it. But I've also got a couple of other books in my basket. So I really want to get We're Gonna Need More Wine by Gabrielle Union, and definitely planning to do a review around that for you guys. And also Principles by Ray Dalio. Hope you guys have enjoyed that. Please, please, please do me a favour and hit the subscribe button if you did, because there will be more of these types of videos coming. Click the bell to turn on post notifications so that whenever I upload a new video, you guys know about it first. And do come follow me on my other social channels if you want to chat. I post quite frequently on Instagram, so go over to my last post and give it a like if you want. I will have linked it down below, and just say hi. It's really nice to chat to you guys in the comments of my other channels. Otherwise, I will see you in my next video, which will be on Sunday. Bye!